The world's coldest continent is also one of the most mysterious places on Earth.
Sure
It's
is.
as unique as it is secretive. And unlike most destinations, you can't just hop off a commercial
Why
flight.
not?
Unless you're an elite scientist or an emperor penguin,
penguin.
exploring the Antarctic is forbidden. Even if you could,
Why is the Antarctica forbidden? Let's get to the bottom of this and figure out why can't Qula go to Antarctica in 2025? What are the reasons they're gonna give us?
good luck overcoming frostbite-inducing temperatures of negative 130 degrees
I'll be fine.
Fahrenheit or negative 90 degrees Celsius. But
Darn it.
why is it restricted? And where do these rules come from? Grab your mittens and let's find out. Before the mid-1900s, we knew almost nothing about Antarctica. Then, an
And we still don't.
American Navy explorer by the name of Admiral Richard Byrd Jr. changed everything. Oh, and before you go asking Santa for presents, the Antarctic is actually at the South Pole. Antarctica equals south, Arctic equals north. Comprende? Anyway, what was
Comprende.
Byrd's deal? Aside from enormous expanses of ice, endemic wildlife, and wintry conditions he'd never before seen, what else exactly did he find? While it's still shrouded in mystery, many think that Byrd came across an underground civilization called Agartha. Here, check it out.
Why was he allowed to visit Antarctica? Was he a penguin, as they say?
In 1957 and 58, a bunch of countries came together and were like, you know what, we love what this new research is showing and we need to protect Antarctica. So, the Antarctica Treaty was created. What does that mean exactly?
Let's backtrack for one quick second and listen to this information.
In 1957 and 58, a bunch of countries came together and were like, you know what, we love what...
Whenever a bunch of countries come together on something, especially something that, you know, we don't have any information about, and agree on something to let nobody in, that should be the biggest red flag. But instead it's called the Antarctica Treaty.
this new research is showing and we need to protect Antarctica. So, the Antarctica Treaty was created. What does that mean exactly? Well, it means that smarty-pants scientists in lab coats can venture into the icy abyss for research purposes. For the rest of us, there are exceptions, of course. We can, for example, head to the Antarctic waters on a cruise ship. Can we set foot on the land as well? Technically, yes. There are a
Technically. So who's in charge of all these rules? I thought we could do whatever we want.
few landing spots along the peninsula, but compared to the entire continent's mass, it isn't even a sliver. The treaty also stated that no single nation could own Antarctica. It's divided up into partial ownership for these 7 countries. Here, check it out.
The biggest red flag is when all countries come together to agree on something. And I know you might be like, why is that a red flag? I'm just gonna throw that out there. Just note it.
So we know we're not allowed to wander around the frostbitten land of Antarctica, but why exactly is that?
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's for the protection of the environment. It
Oh.
makes sense too. The world's southern tip is a
They
place
care about the
overflowing with
environment. Stop. It's to protect the environment. That's why koala can't go to Antarctica.
biodiversity. There's endemic species, underground mountains. Yeah, you heard that right. Blood red waterfalls, and even gold spewing volcanoes.
Yeah.
But as much as we do want to keep our beloved environment thriving, we've also been banned for our own safety. Temperatures can drop to a whopping negative 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That's negative 90 Celsius.
That's fine.
For most of us,
Easy.
protecting the environment and ourselves is the whole story. However, for a select few, it's believed that there's some rather shady stuff going on behind that ice wall. As you can see, it's completely visible on Google Maps satellite view.
Oh, so if it's visible on Google Maps, then we're fine. I've always had a bad relationship with certain things like these because it's just full of lies. It's lies on lies, and people tend to believe that what they're telling us is the truth. Well, we all know it's not. We all know it's not.
So if something shady was going on, it must be rather well hidden. Perhaps this giant alien face-like structure could be a sign of the unknown? We won't delve too deep.
You just said there's underground mountains. What else is there underground? Their whole point is to protect us and the environment, so nobody gets to go to Antarctica. If that...
into other theories, but they do include a supposed hidden fortress used in World War II, claims that an ancient civilization once lived down there, and of course the idea that it's the gateway to the end of the world because the world is flat. Yeah, right. Okay, so what would
I'm not gonna say
actually happen if we did try to visit Antarctica?
Yeah, what happens?
If you break the rules, get ready to deal with fines of up to 10,000 US dollars, and even a year behind bars for each rule that you break.
Wow.
There are a heap of rules to follow, but they mostly revolve around protecting native wildlife.
I'm
But
sure
wait,
that's why.
since nobody technically governs the area, who's actually going to punish us? Well, it depends on where you're from. According to the Antarctic
just go
Treaty,
missing.
anybody accused of a crime in Antarctica is subject to punishment by their own country. But what if you're just visiting as a tourist from a country that isn't part of the treaty? Well, in that case, usually the host nation of the ship or plane you arrived on takes the reins, and the captain or pilot of the ship could take full temporary control over you. Antarctica isn't
Red flag on red flag on red flag. I'm going to Antarctica.
only a restricted
Nobody's gonna
landmass,
stop me.
but also one of the largest forbidden airspaces on the planet. It's because of legislation that was introduced in the 80s under the Reagan administration. A law was created that stated no aircraft, regardless of where they are, is allowed to be more than 60 minutes from an airfield in case of an emergency. Since the infrastructure around the South Pole is next to none, we have to avoid it in the name of safety. Of course, that rule
In the name of safety. It's such a good way to just cover anything up you want. You're not allowed to go here because of your safety. Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense.
usually only affects commercial jets.
I'm going
Chartered
there. I don't
jets
care
can
what
still come and
anybody
go
says.
to bring staff to the
$10,000
research bases,
I'll
which
pay.
hovers around 3,000 in the summer and 400 in the winter. While it can become rather bleak and boring, there are still a few basic facilities on offer. At McMurdo Station, there's some coffee shops, a general store, a post
Oh.
office, and 2 solitary ATMs.
Perfect.
Sadly, some who make it down there don't make it back.
Uh-oh.
Over the years, many bodies have been discovered beneath the ice, and some are never discovered at all. In total, the number of fallen explorers is thought to be in the hundreds. That's all for why no one's allowed to explore the Antarctic.
If I go there, will I disappear too? Shady on shady on shady is all we could say after watching this Antarctica video. I mean, it's clear that they're hiding something in that world, but we won't know what it is. Maybe we'll find out later on, but with our technology and our access, us are normal people, we won't get to find out. And that is a rather extraordinary question. Because there's no doubt something else beyond there. Maybe it's gonna explain something, maybe it's gonna show other entities, who knows? But you're not allowed to go there. I'm going there. I'm gonna make it there. $10,000 in fines? That's crazy though. I've always wanted to go and I always wondered. So you have to become a penguin or a crazy researcher. One of the two things. And then you can be up there. So I guess let's figure out how to make it there and oh man, there's gonna be more videos about this. Thank you guys for joining. Qula. See you on the other side. See you on the Antarctica.